Where did Todrick Hall go wrong on Big Brother? Honestly, from the very beginning.
Y'all already know what time it is. I got the black V-neck on.
So what is going on, y'all? I have to talk about Todrick Hall and, girl, all of the drama, all of the mess surrounding everything that happened on Big Brother, on the live feeds, the things that came out. Like, it is a lot. Before we get into this conversation, I do want to give out a PSA and let you all know that I am in some close proximity to Todrick Hall. I've spent some time with him. We follow each other on social media. I've had conversations with him. And I've tried to use my conversations and my time around him to kind of educate him on some of the criticism and things that's going on. So this is not everything that I'm saying in this video. I would definitely tell him to his face and in person or even on the phone if I was talking to him. But I haven't had a conversation with him in a minute. When I first saw that Todrick Hall was going to be on Big Brother, I was like, okay, this is cute. Todrick Hall knows how to like talk in front of the camera. He knows how to be whimsical, funny, and all that other stuff. So let's see what it's going to give. But after the first couple of days and watching the live feeds and stuff, I'm like, okay, Todrick is constantly talking. Like, he doesn't know when to stop, and he doesn't know how to read the room. And that's one of the things, like, being around him, I've noticed is that he thinks he's always right. Like, and I think celebrities, for the most part, who've been successful throughout their lives for so long, are so used to, as long as their careers are going good and as long as they're getting up and moving on, that they must be doing something right. So everybody else is hating. And I can honestly see that as a person who receives criticism every once in a while. Like, sometimes it does become, like, the lines become blurred. Like, what is legit criticism and what is legit hate? And it takes a lot for a person to be able to shift through that. And with that being said, I think people in your community, you trust them to be able to tell you the truth. And I have folks who hold me to a very high standard and help me shift through the bullshit. So watching Todrick just talk, it was like Todrick was trying to be two different people, and the person who he truly is was coming out on the live feeds. And I'm not going to say that Todrick Hall is like an evil person and all the other stuff. I think there's definitely some work to be done on him. I think he does have a questionable politic when it comes to blackness and stuff. And we saw that. We saw how he tried to use, blackness to his benefit and play the victim in this house and talk about certain things. And I'm looking like, Todrick Hall, you've never kind of been that person to have that conversation like this publicly. You've been questioned several times about, who the people you surround yourself with, who the people you defend, who the people you uplift, and the type of content that you have done. Now, we're going to talk about this because you all know I wrote a whole article about Todrick Hall when we first bumped heads a couple of years ago, and I named like all of the past content and the work that he did on YouTube that was given very much minstrel show. You had black folks, fighting over chicken and watermelon. You had like black folks playing, crackheads. I hate to use that word, that term. Like all this type of content that was on his channel and still on his channel now that he was doing. I was just like, a lot of people are consuming this, and a lot of people are white people who are consuming this. And that's been a big conversation about like people like Todrick Hall and even King Bach who make this specific type of content, and it's a lot like their audience is large, like it's white people. Like, it's just like white people enjoy laughing at stuff like that. And I never want to be the black person who is making content and making white people laugh. I just can't. I want to make white people think. And if they're listening, but I don't want, I'm not begging them to watch. So, yeah, just watching, that's what he was trying to be two different people. And it just oozed out. In one hand, he was talking about he really needed this money. He wanted to win $250,000 so he can make a dent in his mortgage payments or whatever. He has a beautiful home. I actually stayed at his house, beautiful house. And he talked about that. And then on the other hand, he bragged about having a multi-million-dollar home. So it's just like, he's telling these people that he would like to win so he can make a dent in his stuff. But then in the next breath, you are bringing up that you want to buy a $200,000 Wizard of Oz thing. And that's why Teddy ate him up when it came to voting. She's like, one of your favorite movies is Wizard of Oz, and you forgot that we can see behind the curtain. Like, Todrick lost Big Brother from a vote, what was it, 7-1 or 8-1 or whatever. No, it was 7-1. And the only person who did vote for him was Cynthia. And that's because Cynthia wasn't out the house and she didn't know. Now, Todrick wasn't the only person who was, saying some questionable things in the house. Todd Bridges said some questionable stuff when he was talking about Shanna's outfits and her clothes. Even Carson said something about it. And I think Carson, of course, gets off on it easy. He didn't say as much, but he's a likable character. He's gay, he's older, right? He makes jokes about being old and getting facelifts. He's giving very much Joan Rivers, but not Joan Rivers. And it's making him very likable and stuff. So he wasn't going to deal with the much criticism, and he didn't say as much as Todrick did. Todrick talked about Shanna's clothes, and he kind of accused her of using her body and stuff to get people to vote for her and support her. And it was just like, even when Shanna left, Todrick made comments and said stuff about her. It's even rumored, and I don't know how true this is, that when Shanna left and she was evicted, and she said, don't worry, Todrick, I'm gonna get the jury to vote against you. And Todrick responded and said, don't be too hard on me now. And come to find out, they're saying that is what Shanna had shared, that a robber had told her when she was when she was being robbed in her home. Like the robber was saying, don't be too hard on me now. And like she said, there was a terrifying moment. So I don't know if Todrick was saying that to get back at her or whatever. He was bringing that moment up, but it is questionable. It is very questionable. So they're like, Twitter was eating him up over the last couple of days. They was eating him up on TikTok. Like it seemed as though like a fest. Like you had interviews of, from people talking about things they've experienced with him and all the other stuff. Like, it was just like, oh my gosh. And I honestly started to feel some type of way for him. I was like, you know what? This is very, very heavy to receive all of this while being locked up in this house for 30 days. But honestly, these are conversations and stuff that I've tried to have and tried to say, hey girl, like, I know you believe this, but this ain't it. Like, girl, I'm gonna tell you why this ain't it. Like, this is why people are saying these things. We had a conversation about interns, and he was just expressing that he had to work hard and do the things that he had to do to get where he was at. And he didn't get paid for a lot of gigs and stuff. And I was like, well, Todrick, people are understanding now that, girl, notoriety and whatever is not paying the bills. Like, this visibility is not paying the bills. I need to be paid for my work. And Todrick was like, no. And he was sitting next to a guy who literally just interviewed Mariah Carey probably like a year or so ago. And he was agreeing. Like, these are folks who were talking about spending $20,000, $30,000 in one day. And they are just so disconnected. They have no idea of the world that is going on, where people who are literally surviving off of $3,000 a month. Some people are surviving off of less than. And I use surviving like very specific, because that's what people are doing. People are not living, people are surviving. So when Todrick gets on there, he's just kind of just disconnecting. He didn't realize that. So a lot of folks were saying, hey, you gotta give it to him because you were on a camera 24/7, you forget. And I'm like, no, like, that's not how it works. Like, people don't understand that your true person, your true whatever, is when the cameras are off. That's your true self, when you are like relaxed. So if you're doing all this stuff when the cameras are on and you know it, it's getting very much performative. So when the cameras are, like, you think that the cameras are off and people are not filming you and you're just saying stuff, that's who you are. That is just who you are as a person. And I want to talk, because I will literally tell folks all the time, like, you can't take 15 minutes out of my video and think that's how I am 24/7. When people give me that criticism, they think that I'm very angry, da 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 da. And I'm like, girl, once I get through recording these 10, 12, 15, 20 minute videos, I literally be chill and stuff, but I get in here with a lot of energy and amped up because I'm very passionate about the things I talk about. But girl, people who know me know I don't mind pulling folks to the side and say, hey girl, that ain't it. Like, people, like, they know, they say, girl, like, if one thing, I'm going to defend the person who's not in the room. Point blank, period. Like, I have no problem, because it's all about what you say when no one is there. That matters. And I think, as much as we want to criticize Big Brother or the cameras are 24/7, they knew what this was going into the game. And some of the stuff, even Todd Bridges brought up and said, when Shanna had left, there was no reason for to continue to talk about like her. Lamar brought it up, like everybody was saying, like, why are we still dragging Shanna? Because the game became very personal to Todrick. It became very personal, and he became like, just, I don't know how to describe it, just, he just became like the person who is like a mean girl. And it was like, I don't know. And what is hilarious about some of this is that Todrick made a comment about like having a white girl win the show in 2022, or like, is that what you really want? Like to see a white girl win? And Lamar was like, girl, this what you mean? Why are you bringing up her race? And let me say this. Race is in everything. I know some white folks who review Big Brother and stuff seem to think that, because I watched a couple of y'all seem to think that, oh, y'all view of the world is very like dipped in white supremacy. I'm gonna be completely honest. Like y'all get on here and y'all will say certain things like, oh, everything's not about race. Everything is about race. Every little thing is about race. I don't know, I hate people who speak like that because it's almost like we're supposed to pretend that we don't see color, but when I look at color, I see color. Y'all sure enough do see color. You seen color when you was writing laws. You seen color when you was enslaving folks. So we're not gonna, oh girl, we don't see color. Yeah, absolutely do see color. So they tried to say that was racist what Todrick was saying. But I was like, no. If I don't think I would have said it like that, but I was like, girl, I would have banned with some black folks like, girl, we need to win. Not too many black people have won Celebrity Big Brother or Big Brother. Like Tamar won Celebrity Big Brother as she should. She showed out. And Todrick actually shaded Tamar on Big Brother. Said that she is she's a woman trapped in a drag queen's body or something like that. Or, I don't know what the heck, but honestly, that is something that I have kind of said about Tamar. I don't think it was okay because Todrick is cool with Tamar. I'm not cool with Tamar. So I was like, I would have said she's a drag queen, whatever, but I would say that she uses a lot of gay lingo, and then she also has some things that she's said in the past and in the present that have been viewed as homophobic. So that's just what it is, point blank period. And I would tell Tamar that to her face. But yes, it was that it made absolutely no sense that Todrick tried to play this like race thing while aligning with a white woman who is a Trump supporter. Todrick was doing all of the work for Misha. Like he was out here he was getting his hands dirty for this white woman. And you literally evicted all the black folks. Like y'all evicted the last 3 black folks out the house during Black History Month. And then you lost this white girl. If that's not irony of how it works, is that Todrick did all of this work, all this extra work for this white woman, for them, and then lost to her. What does that say? What does that say? What does that mean? What does that mean? Like, some people say, oh, it's a game. It's a game. Is it a game? Is it a game? And how low are you willing to go? Like, oh, that's what we're supposed to do. Like, what does that say? What does that say? Like, and he still did all that and still lost. What is that? Even his comment towards Chris Kirkpatrick about his son being, possibly embarrassed by him and is going to be disappointed how he played. Todrick went very low. He went very low and he bragged about it. And he didn't know how to read the room. He didn't know that folks were looking at him outside the house like, wow, he is really like toxic. Like, what is going on? And Chris Kirkpatrick even said that it seemed like Todrick was playing a different type of game. He's taking it very personal. And they ate him up when they voted. They ate him up. Girl, the only people who didn't eat him up was Mariah, Carson, and Cynthia. But everybody else chewed him up. Lamar didn't chew him up either. And Lamar's just very nice. I did enjoy Lamar in the house. But it was sad to watch. You can clearly see that Todrick was pissed off. He was irritated. There are some rumors that, after the vote was going on, baby, girl, they said Todrick didn't want to sit down. Misha had to calm him down. He's not done any press. He's not done any exit interviews. He's not done anything, and I just like, girl, I wouldn't have done him either. To be honest, I wanted to see how he was going to explain himself, but he had to go strategize and see what's going on because, baby, it's not looking good for him. It's not looking good for him because what I find interesting about this is I have been saying some of these things for some years. And when I was saying this stuff, folks would call me a hater. They're saying, oh, you jealous, da, da, da. Now it's just like, I always have to wait till everybody else catches up to what I've been saying. It's not so funny being that person like, I told y'all that, like I literally said that. And now people are like, well, you cool with him, da da da. I was like, if a person is willing to learn, I don't mind giving them the knowledge because at the end of the day, I want liberation and I want black folks to understand what this is that we're fighting, what we're up against. And I don't mind having some grace for black folks. I don't mind doing that. So as long as they're willing to, and I think he was willing to listen because I was probably the only person who's ever just stuck it straight to him and just tell it like it is. But girl, they ate him up. And I hope, you know, he's getting the mental therapy and all the things he needs because they have been brutal on your boy. But tell me what you thought about Big Brother this season. I don't think they're going to do another celebrity Big Brother because I don't see any celebrities going through this again, girl. I don't know. Let me know what you thought about it. Also, let me know what you thought about my video. Comment below, and I'll talk to y'all later on tonight. Bye.